So I was actually about to discuss something else with my son, and I was letting him know the motivations behind my 2 YouTube channels. And there was a conversation I had with a relatively famous YouTuber. Not relatively, I mean, the guy's blowing up right now. But here's the thing: you got some people in this world who really just want to help folks. Of course, you know, you have to have your day job and or your business or whatever it is you do to make money. But working with children, that's been a passion of mine for a long time. Matter of fact, my son's here with me. We're headed to the park to do some training. He started summer football yesterday, and I messed up. I should have had him doing some stuff last week, but I got to open his lungs up a little bit, re-extend his range of motion, and I'm gonna give him a regimen that's harder than what they do at practice, in my estimation. So he'll have that advantage going in, and just kind of like a refresher course to get some muscle memory back going, so to speak. If you're a coach, you know what I'm talking about. If you're an athlete, you know what I'm talking about. Basically, the off season is pretty much ending. It's time to get back in the gym, and I got to whip my boy back into shape. But anyhow, we were talking, and I was telling him about how I ended up speaking to Charleston White. So I had heard Mr. White, and you'll hear me call grown folks Mr. or Coach a lot, because that's just kind of how it goes in the profession. I called Mr. White because one of my former students called me because he got in a... See, Charleston White always, I heard him say in his early videos that he had an organization in which he helps people to either avoid or walk away from the gang lifestyle. And one of my former students joined the gang and called me because my students kind of understand that, you know, I don't judge people who might live the street lifestyle or might come from the streets or have different types of circumstances. People are people. They come in my classroom, I teach them regardless of what they look like, where they're from, what they got or what they don't have. So this kid called me. He's not a kid anymore. He's in his 20s, and he done laid around and joined the gang. And he's like, "Hey, Mr. Renaissance Man, I need to get out of a gang, and I don't know how to do it." Now, I've never joined a gang. The city where I'm from, it's more about territory and neighborhoods, and it's kind of unwritten rules, but not necessarily joining a gang. They have different types of initiations, and really you're not supposed to be able to just walk away regardless. I do understand that, but you know, the gangs of today don't follow usual protocol. And you know, a lot of people, when you say the word gang, they just assume black folks in Compton, California, or Chicago, or whatever. But you know, the first gangs didn't start with black folks. They started in, you know, with the in colonial times, and you know, like the movie Gangs of New York, so to speak, if you want to just get a quick pop reference. But we didn't start that stuff. You know, black folks didn't start that. But you know, if you live in the country, you're going to pick up on the customs and the culture regardless. So anyway, let's not accuse Mr. Renaissance Man of being some type of gang banging teacher. I'm a man of, I like to consider myself being a man of understanding and education, and having a little bit of knowledge of human behavior. But you know, you are also, as a foundational black American, any unfair stereotypes, you'll see me take them and slam dunk them in the trash can over here. So we're not going to just assume that my student's just this awful person, and those darn black people don't know how to act. Don't you dare do that over here. It ain't gonna work. Now, with that being said, yeah, this man got caught up in the wrong type of lifestyle. And he tells me, hey, I walked away already. And I said, okay, well, you still living. So one or two things can happen. Either these folks are afraid of you, or they don't follow the traditional rules. But you know, if they haven't approached you directly about the subject, because they were sending him some messages and driving by his house, but they didn't make any type of move. So I told him, look, you know, there's one way you can handle that situation. There's another couple ways you can handle that situation. What I suggested for him was just to go ahead and move back to the city that he's from. If those folks couldn't reach him around the corner in that particular city, they weren't going to be able to reach him a whole state away. But I said, you know what? Let me check in with somebody who might understand this situation better than I do. So I threw a Hail Mary, at least that's what I thought I was doing, and I called Charleston White. I called his organization, rather, because you can find the phone number for the organization. But on this particular day, he picked up directly and he spoke to me. There's some things he says I don't agree with. There's a lot of things he says that I do agree with. But what I learned was this. As far as this man saying that he wants to help children get out of that lifestyle, he's serious. And he's legit and he's authentic about that. The same person you see on the videos, and he has a character. You'll see him sometime break character and you'll see the real him. And that person, if you talk to him in real life, he's that same person, and he confirmed most of what I thought. And he also told me some other things about the gang lifestyle, like if this young man would have ended up in jail, how he could get out of it, or you know, at least make a good attempt at it. But the point I'm trying to make is this: when I talk to the guy, you know, he is who he says he is, and I appreciate him because he didn't charge me for that particular piece of information. I know his channel is much bigger now, and I realize he's charging for speaking engagements. But you know, as far as him being a man, and as far as him having character and being who he says he is, I can't say anything bad about him, because again, I'm in the field of education to help children. So anybody who's trying to help children, by default, I at least need to hear what they say and at least have to lend some credence to their character. And I really appreciate Charleston White for doing that. I know he does what he does. I know he says what he says and grows his channel the way he grows it. Okay, well, you know, his problems with other people are not my problems. But as far as him being willing to give me solid information to help one of my students, hey, I appreciate the guy for it. So I doubt seriously he'll ever see this video. His channel has grown so greatly. But for anybody, you know, just wondering what the guy is like off the camera, he's a legit dude. So hey, like, share, and subscribe my little old channel. If it means anything to you, there might be some young people who could use the information. Because the fewer of our children who go into that type of lifestyle means the fewer that we have to get out of it, or try to pull out of it. And sometimes it ain't that easy to just walk away. Depending on where you are, that stuff can get very, very serious. So I'm glad it worked out for this young man in this particular situation. And now we're about to get onto this extra hot field and get some work done. It is 87 degrees. But hey, if you want to play football, that's what you got to do. You got to put in the work. And if you want to do training, you have to try to replicate the environment that you'll be working in. The young man says he wants football to be his job, so we're about to get to work. Y'all have a good one.